Now the onions and all the vegetables are brown to where I like them. What I'll do now is add back all the meat, which is the pork and all the chicken. I'm going to let them blend together. Let all the flavors mix together. Still have the fire on hot, on real high. Just gonna mix this up and let it cook together for a little bit. And then I'm gonna add the fluid. The meat and the vegetables have been cooking together for about 10 minutes now, which is all you really need. What I'm going to do now is add the liquid, which is chicken stock, to the mixture with some other seasonings, and I'm going to let that simmer for about 20 minutes before I add the rice. Since I'm adding 3 pounds of rice, I'm going to add 10.5 cups of chicken stock to the mixture and let that simmer together to get all the flavors blended. Now to this, I'm going to add a half a can of golden mushroom, maybe a little bit more. Golden mushroom Campbell's soup. I'm going to add 1 can of Rotel. I'm going to add 1 can of Dawn's Fresh mushroom gravy. Again, I like the mushroom flavor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this back to a boil. I'm going to adjust the seasonings with salt and Cajun seasonings and Worcestershire and hot sauce. And we'll go from there. Alright, our liquid in the meat and vegetables have been simmering for about 10 minutes now. Nice boil. What I'm going to do is add, I haven't checked the seasoning level, but I'm going to add 2 ounces of Louisiana style hot sauce. And contrary to what most people believe, this is not because it's hot, it's because it's a good flavor. And I'm going to add at least 2 ounces of Worcestershire sauce, again for flavoring. Going to mix that together. I'm going to give this another 5 or 10 minutes. And then I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to check the seasoning levels and I'm going to adjust it from there. If you notice, I haven't added salt yet. The salt was, I heavily seasoned the meat, the pork and the chicken with Cajun seasoning, which has some salt in it. What you do is you want to add your salt right before you add your rice. That way you don't over salt your seasoning mix. Okay folks, here we are. I let it simmer for about 30 minutes and I've already adjusted my seasonings. All I really had to add was a little bit of salt. With the amount of Cajun seasonings I added in the hot sauce, it's nice and spicy and just the way I like it, and my family likes it. What I'm going to do now is add 3 pounds of Zatarain's or Uncle Ben's converted rice. You can use regular rice if you like, but when you use converted rice, it's pretty hard to mess this recipe up. So this is what I pretty much use. This is going to be 3 pounds Zatarain's parboiled or converted rice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank the heat up. I'm going to bring this back to a boil or a nice simmer. You want to stir it, make sure you get all the rice incorporated into the mixture. And what I'm looking for is the point where the rice is actually floating in the liquid. and not just sinking. When I get to that point, what I'm going to do is put the cover on. I'm going to drop the heat to the lowest point that my burner can run. I'm going to put the cover on, and we're going to let it go for a minimum of 20 minutes with the cover on. At the 20-minute mark, what I'm going to do is take the cover off. I'm going to stir everything up nice and make sure everything is mixed. Put the cover back on. I'm going to kill the heat, and then I'm going to let it just steam by itself for about 20 minutes before I even lift the lid up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the video off and come back to where right before I'm ready to put the cover on the pot and let it go for 20 minutes. Well, it's been about 5 minutes. I've been stirring constantly, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but if you can see, the rice is pretty well suspended in the mixture. It's not just sinking to the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is just put the lid on it. I'm going to reduce the heat on my burner to as low a flame as it can run. And I'm going to let it go for at least 20 minutes with the lid on it. I'm not going to lift it, not going to look at it, not going to do anything with it. 20 minutes minimum. Here we are at the 20-minute mark. I'll just pull the lid off of it, and what I'm going to do now is fluff the rice. Now, even though they look like a lot of liquid, it really isn't a whole bunch. And I am making a mess. There actually was a little bit more liquid than I expected, so what I'm going to do is I'll put the lid back on for about another 10 minutes, and then I'll come back and fluff the rice again. Alright, this is it after the additional 5-minute rest with the cover on. I've already stirred it up. You can see pretty much all the liquid is absorbed by the rice. What I'm going to do now is put the cover on and just let it sit for an additional 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat. Alright, here we go. This is it's ready to eat. This is a 3-pound rice, pork, and chicken jambalaya. Ready to eat, Cajun style or back basher style. Hope you enjoy. Don't be afraid to try this on your stove. I just did it in my garage because I have the cooker, and it keeps the heat and the smell out of my house. Real good stuff.